Hello everybody, this is KZ and welcome back to the Kingdom Hearts series. Today we'll be covering the brand new story update we got to Kingdom Hearts Union Cross and see how it advances the story and may connect to Kingdom Hearts 3. All footage is credit to KH Insider as well as Gold Panner for the translations. Let's get into it. So last episode we covered what's going on with Maleficent, who time traveled to this period only to find that it was not what she was hoping for, and she'll be heading back to her original time. But instead of talking about that, we should talk about this update, which is concerning the Union leaders, that being Ephemera, Skuld, Brain, Ventus, and Lauriam. It's time for yet another meeting between them as they lead the various players you play as in the game, and add a few interesting little wrinkles to the story and also try to contextualize some of the gameplay features that exist, but adding like a narrative reason for them. So one of the things is that Lauriam, which is of course Marluxia's human form, is not going to be here. Apparently he is busy with other stuff, which is a bit unfortunate. I mean, Ephemera is like, we should probably all be here, but thankfully Brain said that, you know, Lauriam's like, hey, whatever we decide, I'm cool with. I'll just pretend I'm a yes man, an invisible yes man here. So with that all cleared up, they can get started with the meeting proper. So, when you were chosen as Union leaders, everyone received a copy of a rule book. I was like, look at that, yeah, that's a book. And you just pull that out of her butt. Now this is about the shift pride mentioned there. It's like, yeah, that sure is words. Battles between fellow Keyblade wielders. It's like there's something wrong with it. He's like, what? Did you expect me to read this? You didn't read the rule book that you had to read because you're a leader? I mean, I did, but I can't read. It's only a competition type of thing, right? I think a lack of recreation was going to be a problem. Plus, it's in the rules. So, this, as far as I can tell, is the game's story trying to introduce why PvP exists in the game. But also, you know, it's cool when you try to make gameplay like work within the confines of the story. Ventus is also known as the no fun allowed character. He's like, nah, we can't fighting with Keyblades. That'd be strange. I mean, granted, there's a good reason to not be like that. I mean, we did just like make a data version of this world and this experience so that people wouldn't have to experience the horrid Keyblade War. But sometimes you just want to have a little bit of fun. It's during this conversation, of course, that we have this scene here, which is Skuld having a bit of a flashback of these events, in which your player character, which is represented by this cute girl in Minnie Mouse ears, trying to stop a couple of other random players from fighting each other over the light, or Lux as it's called in this game. So I guess I could talk a little bit about the story stuff. I think this stuff's pretty good. It feels good to be able to make another episode of this series in general, because there's always these monthly updates we have to wait for. Kingdom Hearts 3 is getting closer and closer. There's only 2 more updates they can do before KH3 is out, and I will fucking forget about this game for a while. So they need to, you know, if they want to give you any information that might be critical to KH3. They only got 2 more updates after this, and I will say some of the stuff they've introduced here, very, very interesting. But there's also not much else to say here. This is just a flashback. But thankfully, I talked through it. So she's like, yeah, I remember that. She's like, I'm against this whole fighting thing. It gives me a bad feeling of, you know, a Keyblade War. You know, one of those. That's 2 versus 1. It's all down to you, Ephemera. This is rough. I think we should obey the rules. It's like, oh no! And since Laurium agrees with you no matter what, that means your vote counts as 2. 3 to 2, we win. That's it. Wait, Brain. We will follow the rules, but we won't have the Keyblade wielders fight. Since the Keyblade War, the worlds we travel in the name of experience were something they just clipped that back. It's basically saying that there should be records of data of everyone here, given the fact that this place is a data version of what we experienced in Kingdom Hearts, I just almost fell apart, but luckily I remember what he was talking about. Basically, the rules say you can have matches against Keyblade wielders, which would be the PvP function, but there are people here who don't want to actually have fights between two Keyblade wielders. So what Ephemera says is we will follow the rules, but we will have normal Keyblade wielders fight data versions of Keyblade wielders. Because that means that they can still fight, they can still have fun, and do recreation, but they don't have to fight actual people, causing animosity and bad stuff. And that's basically what's been going on here. This next scene is a bit of a short meeting that Ephemera had with Laurium. He said, you know, that shift pride thing written in the rules, that's kind of weird, right? He's like, yeah, that. Look at me. I have red pants. I'm very dapper. Even simply as a competition, I believe it's dangerous to have the wielders fight each other. But you know about those rules. I wonder why Lady Ava and the others would have us do such a thing. Relaxation or something? You can't be serious. Oh hey, you're smiling. You enjoyed my joke. Lighten up. Look at me. I may have possibly killed someone. Who knows? Maybe I'm a bit overwhelmed with being the leader of an entire group. But thank you. It's nothing. These updates take like months and months to come out. Don't worry about it. You want to go get a sandwich? Where are you going? I'm gonna get there's nothing about the sandwich. Everyone here was from those recreated data worlds. That means data everyone has to be recorded, right? There's someone I'm looking for. They're supposed to have joined the Dandelions, but I haven't seen them. I thought perhaps I'd searched the data. That's worrisome. Can I give you a hand? Nah, it's fine. This is a personal matter. I'll figure something out by myself. Thank you. So, we have now established that Laurium is looking for someone who should have joined the Dandelions. And they're like, let's not pry. Laurium's a nice leader. He'll come on over and be like, hey, what's up? I got a sandwich, but more importantly, I'd like to open up about my situation. Well, with that all said, there's only one scene left. And we have Laurium. He's like, hey, what's up? I'm gonna walk down this map and try my best not to do microtransactions. In-app purchases, they're dangerous. They want me to buy a medal, $15 every week. That's a cute girl in a tie. Are you Elrena? Yeah, it's me. I want to ask you something about my little sister, Strelitzia. And with that, we cap off this story update. So now that we've seen the entire scene, let's kind of break it down and discuss both cutscenes, effectively being split into Shift Pride, the main part of the update, and meeting Elrena, which is the other, probably more interesting part of the update. So, the first one, Shift Pride, is all about having a meeting, deciding how to deal with the entire PvP idea. And it was thanks to having a private conversation with Laurium that Ephemera comes up with the idea that since Laurium is searching for someone by checking the data of that Keyblade wielder that he's looking for, it effectively makes it so what if we use the data of Keyblade wielders for PvP? So instead of two people fighting each other, it's one person fighting the data of another person. It means that it can be a lot less dangerous, and it won't lead to this slippery slope of people are fighting each other more and more. We have another Keyblade war on our hands. It's a great idea. It allows them to follow the rules written in their little book, and everyone's satisfied. There's no bad violence, which I think works out quite well. So the other scene is with Lauriam. He's looking for someone who he is yet to locate since this entire split has happened. Since they've decided to create a data version of Daybreak Town and all of the Disney worlds that they explore to obtain Lux, they have instead just not found this person. So Lauriam is out searching and runs into Elrena, which is, of course, Larxene from Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories, a member of the organization, someone who worked directly with Marluxia in a plan to take down the main source of the organization, Xemnas and company. So it's interesting seeing them interact. It's good to see Larxene in an outfit that is not a black cloak, and overall I like the look of it. Of course, the crux of this very short exchange leaves us really interested, where Marluxia in this translation says he's talking about his sister, Strelitzia. Now, Strelitzia we've seen already. We saw her a few episodes ago, right as they were establishing these union leaders. She was supposed to be one of them, but was unfortunately struck down by a mysterious assailant. We all assumed it was Lauriam because he stood in as the next in line. He was the one who showed up after she passed, so everyone assumed that he was trying to usurp her role. But now, with them talking about, oh, it's his sister, that kind of throws that out the window. Now, one thing I should say up front is that, it's not really up front anymore, but what I should say now is that the translation, direct translation, leaves the sister role ambiguous. It does not say whether it's Larxene's sister or whether it's Marluxia's, but if you follow the flow of the conversation and the entire scene for this update, it leans more toward him than it does her. This has led to a lot of confusion because the night of the 21st, when everyone saw this update and the rough translations, it was leaning heavily toward it being Larxene's sister, which had a lot of evidence behind it at the time. Even I was getting in on it. A Strelitzia is a type of plant that is pointy yellow with blue tips as well, which matches the look of Larxene's knives. On top of that, they share the same eye color, and Larxene's appearing in Kingdom Hearts 3 in the Frozen world, the Disney movie that centers around two sisters as the main thing. So it seemed thematically appropriate. It seemed all set up. But now this adds a wrinkle to it. Well, either way, we won't definitively get our answer for a while, I think. We have a couple of more updates until Kingdom Hearts 3 is out, so we'll get to see how this potentially relates to that game. It's going to be quite exciting to see where this goes, and this could actually go nowhere. This couldn't necessarily go to KH3. Maybe it's building towards something else. Or maybe this is just part for the story of Union Cross. And while some people would be disappointed by that, and some people just don't like Union Cross, I actually like it. I like the story that they're telling here, and I'm very interested in it. Overall, it is going to be interesting, though. These updates come once a month. They typically come before the end of the month, and with Kingdom Hearts 3 launching on January the 25th, in Japan at least, I would imagine that the final update they'll do before KH3 is out will end up dropping before then, and we'll have translations of it before KH3, which will effectively give us our last chance to get any sort of story content related to the Kingdom Hearts series before 3 comes out and really explodes with a conclusion to a large story arc and a lot of information. So, if they want to set some stuff up, that's their chance. Of course, this is ignoring the aspect of this whole thing where Square doesn't do worldwide launches for story updates for this game, effectively screwing over every North American and non-Japanese person who wanted to, like, get with the story. But we'll ignore that. We will ignore that. Thankfully, we are savvy internet users and devoted fans, so we get to see it like this. Either way, I think this was a pretty good story update. I am interested in where things go, and we're going to wrap up this episode. So, as we wrap up, let me talk a little bit about how things are going to be going for the next set of episodes. Coming up, we got a December update. I will be doing that whenever it comes out and translations are there. Then you'll get an episode based on that with more chat. Then we should hopefully get a January episode. Now, with January, it's going to be quite interesting. We'll be close to KH3's launch. My general plan is, if this update is coming in really, really late, and I'm saying like a few days before the game comes out, what's going to happen is I will title the episode, I'll basically save a number for it. So for example, episode 137 of this series will be the December update. Episode 138 will be the January update. And episode 139 will be the start of every KH-related content I've missed, which is the Birth by Sleep Secret episode, which will then transition to 0.2, which will then transition to 1 or 2 episodes talking about KH3's development, a retrospective lead-up, and then, in the 140s, we'll be doing KH3, a blind Let's Play of Kingdom Hearts 3. Now, what that means is, since I'm leaving a gap for, I think I said 138 for the January update, that means that if there's an event where things are happening too close and I just get started with Birth by Sleep, I'll just skip that number. So we'll just start there, and then whenever the story update's out, I will upload it as that number. You may say, KZ, that's a little complicated, but maybe it's a little less complicated than Kingdom Hearts. So with that all said, I hope you enjoyed this episode, a little bit of an updated roadmap of what we're doing in the future. I enjoyed jumping back into the story of KH again, and I will see you next month for another update. Until then.